You always give me the one that doesn't work, and you're about to find out why. I think one of the problems we've got is that we kind of in this country put education and training into two different boxes. So, quite rightly, you're concerned that young people with the academic ability to do really well and go on to higher education or whatever should have that opportunity. But I think there's another opportunity as well that often goes begging, and that is the ability to be able to do vocational training and pursue things that you want to do. Now, I think the problem is that we look at them as if they're two different things, and in some ways they are. But I'd just like to give you the example of Germany, where you can leave school, do an apprenticeship, but instead of doing that and then staying in that one area, you can leave school, do an apprenticeship, carry on doing qualifications while you're in your apprenticeship. And it's rather like an escalator, so that you can step off at various points and carry on. And I know of young German people who started as an apprentice and ended up with a PhD. That's like the highest degree you can get. All from that start, because it doesn't start and finish somewhere. It's a continuous process. And I'd like to see us change the way we do things, so that is more reflected more like it in places like Germany, but not uniquely so.
Thanks, George. Cheers for starting off. Danielle, thank you very much for the question. It's an important question for us as a council. I think the first point for me to make to all of you in this room is the difference in education, which George has just outlined in different countries, and the change in the education system in this country, which is far different than when I was at school. Probably for you, being at school now, it will change within the next year, the way the education system works. It's very important to recognise that, and the reason why I say that is because the way local authority used to have accountability and responsibility for our secondary schools in the borough has fundamentally changed. So we have 6 secondary schools in the borough. As of January, 4 of those will be academies, which means that no longer do we as a local authority have any responsibility for them. So similar to Kim, the way Kim was set up to become an independent organisation, that's pretty much what schools have become. But it is right, and George made the point at the beginning of his speech, that we have to strive to make sure that every young person in this borough is really pushed to the limit to achieve the best. And I can assure you that through our school improvement team, they are going to ensure that there is still accountability through those new academies to ensure that all children and young people, whether in primary or secondary, will be pushed as much as they can, whether they are high achievers, low achievers, to make sure that they get the most out of their education whilst they're still at school. But I'll be happy to have the conversation after this to see whether you could get involved in some of that work as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you want to add anything to that, Charlie, or any other member?
Because not so much building off what these two were saying, the higher achievers don't, what you're saying, don't seem to get as much attention as necessarily the lower achievers. They get put in a class, told you know what to do, get on with it. I think what might be a good idea, instead of just have more individual focus as on individuals, because everyone's so different. So I put this, it puts it back in the hands of the schools per se. So to give like teachers and maybe like specific tutors and like students have like slots of time, so they can like, because they can higher achieve, but they aren't just left to their own devices. Something, I don't know.
Thank you.